Hey everybody, Qroo here. Welcome to the channel. You know, there are a lot of books out there to learn Spanish, and because there are so many, viewers often ask me, what are my choices, what are my recommendations on what I think are the best Spanish books out there? So I'm going to be talking about them today, and I'm actually going to give you my top 5. Now you're going to find links to all of these books in the description section of the video. If you are going to get one of these books, do me a favor and use my link. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but it really does help me out. Let's go ahead and get into this. Number 1 on the list is one I've talked about in other videos. It's expensive, okay? But it is the best Spanish reference guide anywhere. This is a book that you'll be able to use through your entire journey to learn Spanish, from being an absolute beginner, all through intermediate, and even when you reach the advanced level. Everything you're going to want to know is in here. So this book is called A New Reference Grammar of Modern Spanish. It's a pretty riveting title. And one thing I think that's really neat about the book is that, Spanish is not uniform across all the countries. There's little nuances, grammatical changes. Well, this book talks about it. So it'll say, okay, in European Spanish, this is the tendency or this is how it's done. In Latin American Spanish, this is how it would be done until you go to the Southern Cone, where you're talking about Chile and Argentina. And then this would be done. It's really the one that propelled my Spanish. I had so many aha moments reading it. The next one on my list, I don't have right here in front of me, so we're going to look at a picture of it. And it is Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. This is a fantastic book. And this is one that you'll start right from the beginning and read all the way through. It's not something you skip around. It's not a reference guide. When somebody tells me, I want to start to learn Spanish, how do I do it? Obviously, I'm going to point them to my videos and my series about State of the Conversational. But when we talk books, I'm like, go ahead and get Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. It uses a lot of the same things I do. I'm huge on cognates and using your English to speak Spanish better, kind of capitalizing on that. So if you like the way that I teach, you're really going to love this particular book. I wish I found it early on when I was learning Spanish. I was already getting into those cognates and I was really trying to work through it all on my own. And then it was years later, I saw this book and I was like, oh, if I had this early on, I would have been so much further along. So next one on my list is one that I really like that I don't hear people really talk about anymore. It's still being updated, has a latest version, and it is Breaking Out of Beginner Spanish. This is fantastic because, when you start learning the Spanish language, especially as an English speaker, you have all of these questions like, why is this way? And what are the different ways to translate become? And these little nuances you just don't understand that are keeping you stuck. Well, this book will help you through those. Now, it's full of aha moments, but not as many as this, but it's also not a reference guide. I think this book is great for that advanced beginner, kind of around the intermediate stage, has a lot of questions. Definitely get this book. I think you'll love it. The next one on the list also has a very catchy title, Spanish Verb Tenses. Although the title is really lacking, this is a fantastic book. One of the most challenging aspects of learning the Spanish language is learning those verb tenses, right? It gets confusing. Well, this book will actually teach you about the verb tenses, but then it will also give you exercises to do so you can practice them. It is fantastic. I had an earlier version of this and it really, really helped me out. And that's where we're going to segue right into our 5th and final book, which is going to come from the same family of books. And since it's from the same family of books, it has an equally boring name, Spanish Pronouns and Prepositions. Now, pronouns and prepositions are something that a lot of Spanish learners kind of overlook. I mean, they're like, yeah, they're kind of important, but I'm going to focus on verbs and things like that. And then later, they're like, I got to get back to that. And with these last 2 books, they may sound like reference books, but they're not. You're going to start at the beginning, work your way through, learn all these things like the difference between por and para and when to use de and en, things like that. And then do the exercises as you work through the book. And they're not so difficult, that a beginner is going to be so overwhelmed. Well, there you have it. Those are my picks. Those are my top 5 Spanish books that I recommend to folks. Again, if you're going to get them, do me a favor and use the links that I have in the description section of the video. And, well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching the channel, and until next time, hasta luego.